What's up, everybody? It's your boy Jay McLovin here with Celeste Marie Wilson on another edition of the Whiskey Hour podcast on the Elite Sports and Entertainment Network. Celeste, how you doing today, girl?
I'm doing well. How are you?
I can't complain. Honestly, it's been a pretty
Can't
good
complain?
day. It's been windy though. My God, I went outside and I almost blew into the
Oh my
trees. That's how
gosh.
windy it was.
I went outside freezing this morning. Not actually freezing, but freezing for a Texan. And that was hot as all get out. I don't know what's going on. I'm like, is it going to be hot or is it going to be cold?
I think the next 2 weeks in the morning it's going to be cold, and in the afternoon it's going to be warm. And I think they're going to play that out until probably about the middle of March. So we'll get used to it for the next couple of weeks. It's Texas. What are you going to
Yeah, we got two seasons. I can't say it.
do? I'm going to tell you though, Celeste, I kicked butt in planting my winterization of my trees. Now,
Oh,
anybody that knows me knows I am trying to become a gardener. Now, I have failed with my lemons and I have failed with my limes, but I learned a valuable lesson on that. There are certain things you can plant, certain things you have to put in a pot. So I replaced them this year with avocados. I put out a couple
okay.
apples. I put out a couple of peaches. Then I have oranges. Now I learned that the oranges and avocados, you have to do heavy winterization. The peaches, the apples, they like the cold weather, so you can just let them be on their own. So this year I got smart, Celeste. I took pipe
Okay.
insulation and I put it on the trunks, and then I put Christmas lights over the trees, and then I put a bag over it. Celeste, they live.
Oh, that's smart, Jay.
They live, Celeste.
They lived?
They live to see another year of life. Now, Celeste, you have a song, and
Hmm.
it goes Jesus, tequila, and a little bit of whiskey.
I do have a song.
And I like to attribute the fact that those trees lived because I did all three of them while I was doing that whole process. A little bit of whiskey, a whole
You
lot of
did,
tequila.
Jesus?
I just know that this time around, I did not fall off the retaining wall, so life is pretty good right now.
Life is pretty good.
Life is pretty good. I've learned to keep trees alive, and I've learned not to fall off retaining walls. So there is hope for this world. Okay. For you guys don't know, at some point, I'm going to have hopefully the opportunity to interview Celeste's sister. She does photography, and her father, who got her into there. So maybe that would be a future edition of Whiskey Out. We will find out soon. But I am really, really looking forward. I have never seen a family that is so talented as yours, Celeste. All you guys seem to got some level of talents. I mean,
think
it's crazy.
Everybody's got a talent. They just have to be brave enough to pursue it.
Well, I tell you what, I tried to pursue art one time. It didn't go so well. I got a D in that class, Celeste.
Oh, that's okay.
And
We
I
all
tried
make
really,
bad
really
grades
hard.
sometimes.
I tried hard, Celeste.
I
so
tried really,
hard.
really hard at geometry.
God, I did too. I did get a C average, so. Hey, look, I put on a C average, and Jay McLovin's like, that might as well be an A plus. My dad was like, hallelujah, praise the Lord. This boy is going to leave the house one day. And I did.
That's good.
So here's a couple of guys that I've known for quite some time now in Delta Circle. Nick, Ernest, those are the founding members of it. And then Kyle and Josh Buck Owens rounded out the band. And then at some point, Kyle had to step away for personal reasons. And then in comes Daryl. And Daryl took over the rhythm guitar now for Delta Circle. And both of those rhythm guitars were amazing. Daryl has certainly filled in very, very well. Delta Circle, if you're not familiar with them, they're a local-based band out of the Savannah, Richmond Hill, Glenville area. They're kind of in that neck of the woods. South Georgia, Southeast Georgia, I guess you would say, just above the Florida line. Is kind of where they're based out of. They play a lot of areas. I know they played at the House of Blues in Louisiana. They played at Springboard Music Fest here in Houston. That's actually how I met Celeste, was going to see them at Springboard. And then I got introduced to Celeste while we were there. I think Ernest was the one that brought it over to me. And I certainly appreciate Ernest for doing that because it has made to a really good friendship. So that's how I met him. Can you tell me a little bit, before we get into a little bit more about the band, Celeste, how you met Delta Circle and what you thought about them?
Absolutely. So I met them at the first springboard we had both gone to, which was 2 years ago, I think.
Right.
And Well, we met. Oh my gosh, I got hair in my mouth. I was just sitting right behind them during the conference, and they were taking notes, and I was taking notes. And you just kind of chat with people around you and things like that. And we started talking, and since they were right in front of me, and I was right behind them, and they talked to my mom and thought it was cool that my mom was managing me and things like that. And so then you do what you do at conferences, like you get lunch with people and chat. And then we saw each other again at the Buddy Holly Foundation Writers Rooms, and I performed right after them. Yeah, I think it was right after them at the oh my gosh, the House of Blues in New Orleans.
Right.
And we've just kind of like run into each other all the time. Like, we're just we're in a similar genre, similar space,
Right.
and they're great, great guys. If you're going to sit next to people, sit next to them. You will have a fun time.
Yeah, I've loved Nick for a long, long time, and then I've met Ernest through Nick, and they're just two really great guys. Ernest has a really good knack for business on the music end, and he also is a hell of a good bass player, and he's just phenomenal. I think those two guys, Nick and Ernest, really, really had great chemistry, and then you added Kyle, and then you add Daryl into that mix, and it just makes for a really, really good sound. And I think sometimes Kyle doesn't get all the love he should get, and neither does Daryl, because those are the newer parts of the band. But man, what a timekeeper in those drums that Kyle does. And again, the rhythm section from Daryl is just on point. And Celeste, about a band, I mean, you have to have all those moving parts. They all have to be really, really good. If your timekeeper is not good, then it's really going to throw off your bass, and it's really going to throw off your lead, correct?
Yeah, that's correct. That is correct.
So yeah, it's really cool. And of course, I know you guys met at the Josie Awards as well, correct? I think at the Grand Ole Opry.
We did. They ended up leaving a little before, so we like almost ran into each other and then didn't, because they had to get home because they had flown all the way in and were exhausted because they had been doing gigs every night. And I totally get that because I was exhausted too.
Yeah, I mean, that's a really, really hard working band. I think they just came off a 4-gig in a row performance, and now they're playing again tonight. I was hoping to get them on the show for just a 5-minute soundbite on their new remix song. But, as scheduling comes up, because they are so hard working, it's just really hard to get them when they're not working. And honestly, you need your personal time too. Nick just got married to Skylar. I know Skylar.
Oh my gosh, they're so cute.
They are very, very cute. And I think I've known Skylar for a little bit from our times that me and Melanie would go to Flashback. She worked there at that time. And so we got to know her pretty well. And she's just an amazing young lady. I could have picked a better person for Nick. And for those of you who don't know, I did an anniversary for my wife, and I'm sitting there, as I often do, and I'm thinking, what can I do? How can I give Melanie the anniversary that I think she would have? And so I called up Nick, and I'm like, look, Nick, here's a couple of songs that we played at our wedding. Can you just get an acoustic guitar? Let me know what I got to pay you. And I said, can you just meet me at this barn? And there was a barn that I knew about in the field where you can take your dogs, and they got all kinds of other things around it.
Yeah.
And he's like, yeah, man. So I had my stepson, and Nick, and my stepdaughter. They were all inside this barn waiting for me and Melanie to roll up. I didn't tell Melanie we were going. I said, hey, I got to stop by the dog park real quick, because at that time I was getting Blue Train there as well. So I said, I'm going to get Blue Train here real quick. So hold on a minute. So we pull up, and it's raining. So it's raining hard. And so I pull up kind of like right close to where the barn door is, and she can see Nick in there. So now she knows something's up. So then we get up in there, and it was a beautiful moment. He played the guitar, played our wedding songs, and it was phenomenal. And he did such a great job, right? Nick always does.
Oh my
right?
gosh, he always does.
Yeah, so I really appreciate Nick, and the band is like that in general. If you know Nick, you know Ernest. If you know Ernest, you know Kyle and Daryl. They're all really just salt of the earth type people, and those are probably people I really like to promote because they just have such a good heart about them. But they're also very, very talented people. So before we get into this, actually, you know what? I'm going to play the song, and then I want to get your take on it, and then we'll go from there. Is that okay?
Yes.
All right, let me bring this in. And again, Celeste, if you don't hear it, just kind of point your ears and I'll know that if my audio is working or not. I think I got it fixed. We're about to find out. For those of you that don't know, this is Beat It. This is the newest single that Delta Circle has released. You can find this on iTunes. I think I paid $1 for it. It's super cheap, but very, very, very well done. It's a Southern flair to an old Michael Jackson favorite. And here is Delta Circle's Southern rock version of Beat It.
They told him, don't you ever come around here. Don't wanna see your face, you better disappear. The fire's in the eyes and the words are very clear. So beat it, just beat it. You better run, you better do what you can. Don't wanna see no blood, don't be a macho man. You wanna be tough, better do what you can. So beat it. But you wanna be bad, just beat it, beat it. No one wants to be defeated. So now country strong is your fight. It doesn't matter who's wrong, who's right. Just beat it, just beat it, just beat it, just beat it. They're out to get you, better leave while you can. Don't wanna be a boy, you wanna be a man. You wanna stay alive, better do what you can. So beat it, just beat it. You gotta show them that you're really not scared. You're playing with your life, saying truth to dare. They'll kick you and they'll beat you, they'll tell you it's fair. So beat it. But you wanna be bad, just beat it, beat it. No one wants to be defeated. So now country strong is your fight. It doesn't matter who's wrong or right. Just beat it, beat it. No one wants to be defeated. So now country strong is your fight. It doesn't matter who's on your right. Just beat it, just beat it, just beat it, just beat it. Beat it, beat it, beat it. Beat it, beat it, beat it. Doesn't matter who's wrong or right. Just beat it, beat it. No one wants to be defeated. So now country strong is your fight. It doesn't matter who's wrong or right. Just beat it.
Man, what'd you think, Celeste?
I love that song. I love that redone version too. All of Delta Circle stuff is good. All of it.
I've always said if you're gonna do something, you either gotta do it equal to or better. And then if you're gonna change it, then you have to change it in a way that makes sense. And the Southern rock version and the way that they kind of changed up the lyrics a little bit, which is great. And I felt like, it was just right on point because the integrity of the song was still there. It was just given to you in a little bit different way. And that's what I liked about it. It was that, I mean, I have not seen too many people that do covers that can change it up a little bit, but still have the integrity there. And it was, I mean, well done, man. And that guitar solo that Nick does at the end, that's just ridiculous, man. That boy could play a guitar like I don't know too many people that I know.
I know. That's crazy. And
I mean,
he gets into it.
Now,
oh my goodness.
Now comes the question.
Oh,
I asked you the other day
hard about this one.
I told you, I said, who do you think is the lead singer? Is it Kyle, the drummer? Is it Ernest, the bass player? Is it Daryl, the rhythm guitarist? Or is it Nick, the lead guitarist? Now, here's an interesting teaser. When this first came out, when they first teased it, it was just Nick coming up with the guitar part of it, and that was the teaser. No music or no words, no drums, no nothing, just him on the guitar, and he's just kind of tweaking it and trying to figure out how that song is going to be put out. So that was a teaser that they put out. But who was the lead singer?
Okay, so here's what I'm going to say. I feel like if Nick was the lead singer, we wouldn't have this question. So I feel like since we're asking this question, it's probably not Nick. So I X Nick out. I don't think it's him.
Okay.
I feel like it's the new guy. I have an inkling. Am I right or am I wrong?
Right. So your inkling, because there are, like I said, so the inkling is, if I understand what you're saying, is because when Josh left, Daryl took over at the rhythm. So you think it was Daryl that's the one doing the singing?
Yes.
Wow, look at you. You're correct.
Did I get it right?
It was Daryl singing. Yes. Very, very good.
I'm so
very
glad I got
good.
it right. I thought about it a lot. I was like, no, it's not Nick. Because I was comparing the vocals from the first album. I was like, can't be Nick. Whew.
Yeah, no, it was so here's how that came about. I talked to Nick about a couple of days ago when I asked him because you always got to get permission when you use somebody's material. So when I was talking to him, I was asking if I could, use the song. And I said, I got a question for you. Melody said that it doesn't sound like you're the lead singer. And I'm like, I don't know. I mean, he is the lead singer of the band. So I'm thinking like, but even then I had my doubts too a little bit. And he's like, no, that was Daryl. That was all Daryl. And Daryl, so I don't know the 100% the whole full backstory of it, but I do know that, I think they came up with the idea to do Beat It. And then Daryl said, hey, do you mind if I do the lead on this? And Nick's like, okay, yeah, you can do it. And in all honesty, now Nick does a lot of really, really, really good covers. I mean, he does a lot. As a matter of fact, if you've never heard him do Peter Frampton or the Allman Brothers with Mystery Rider, it's phenomenal. And the way they can do Blink-182, he do AC/DC. I mean, the guy is just extremely, extremely talented. But then when Daryl did it, I didn't know that Daryl was the actual singer. I know Ernest had done some backups and things like that. But it really took me by surprise. And he's like, yeah, no, that was Daryl. And I was like, damn, okay, man. And I think it was a good choice. In all honesty, I think it worked for the song. The harmonies I know that was Nick in the harmonies. And, it worked out really, really well. And I got to tell you, this song really – Celeste, when me and you have done in the past, the last maybe 2 or 3 episodes, our music's been kind of a little bit more on the sad side of life.
It has been. There's a lot of sad music.
Oh, man, there is just tons and tons and tons of sad music. And the reason why I feel like let's just do Delta Circle, because I wanted to have a transitional period from that side of what we've been doing into maybe a little bit lighter side and kind of do some lighter side bands. By the way, if you've not heard Hozier, go listen to them. They're really phenomenal. And things of that nature. So I thought this would be a good segue band to kind of shift in that direction. And then when I heard the song Beat It, I was like, yes, me and Celeste, we're doing this and we're going to talk about it. So let me ask you this. So then we side shift from the Beat It to their actual first debut album. It was an EP that they put out, Someone Else's Story. And I'm sure that you've heard most of the songs probably on that EP, I would imagine by now.
I listened through the whole thing.
Okay, good. It's only about 7 songs.
Morning. Yeah, I listened through the whole thing this morning to refresh my head. I'd heard them before, but I was like, gotta, I was like, I love that. I love that EP though. It's so well put together. I love kind of the story that it tells throughout it,
Yes.
because it's not that their album, someone else's story, is not the kind of album you listen to on shuffle. That album's meant to be listened first song all the way to the last song. Like it tells a full story, like a musical kind of thing almost.
Right.
Um, and it's just super cool. I they're just so smart.
I so I interviewed them right when that CD came out. So that must have been about maybe 5-6 months back.
Uh-huh.
And that was exactly the way I looked at it 6 months ago, is the way you're describing it now. That's why I wanted to get your take first. Not because you're a lady, because ladies always first. But I really was kind of curious to see if you were going to have the same, or if you were going to go the same direction I was going back then. And that's exactly what I said about them. I like the lower tones of the bass. Is one of the things I put in there. I actually kind of gave them a little bit of a Queen reference because I felt like they can do, and I think Beat It kind of even more exasperates that. I felt like Delta Circle could go a couple of different directions. Now, yes, they are a Southern rock band. Don't take nothing away from that. They are specifically a Southern rock band. But I have heard this band do things that can be many different layers or many different styles. And that's why I kind of made that Queen reference. And of course, then they told me, Jay, that's a crazy take, but I appreciate it. And I said, yeah, it is a crazy take. And I hope you do appreciate it. But I do. I felt like from song one to song Take It Out was a complete storyline. It's about a guy. It seems like he's reflecting on his life, like I love her, like he's remembering how much he loves her. He's saying, he's holding a beer and he's watching somebody else have the relationship with this girl that I think he wished he would have had. And then he talks about his life, in the very beginning of it all with Back and Better. And I feel like it's kind of a guy that kind of got kicked down a little bit. And then he kind of came back and kind of got his life back. And he probably let the girl of his dreams go. But then she came back with someone else's story, which is just kind of a general overview of the whole relationship as it is. And then there's a lot of tracks. Here's to a Small Town. I feel like it talks about them coming from a small town. Now, Celeste, I know they come from a small town. Nick and them do. They really do. Richmond Hill is not a very big place. Hinesville is not a – matter of fact, if you took the Fort Stewart out of Hinesville, then Hinesville would be like a no man's land. It really is. And then, of course, you have Savannah, which is a mid-level town. So this band is very much small town. Everything about them is small town, right? But I like small town. I do. I feel like you had the closer, like, you know what I'm saying? Like, what do you think about that?
I love it. I love Tears to a Small Town. It's like, how do I describe it? When you're driving and you got a song that comes on and it's a song that makes you want to speed.
Yeah.
That's Here's to a Small Town. Now, you shouldn't do it, especially in Montgomery. You will get pulled over. But Here's to a Small Town pushes it. It's like somewhere between Rascal Flatts and AC/DC.
Oh, very much so.
That's there between those two bands.
Yeah. Yeah. And one of the things, number one, I love Here's to a Small Town. I listen to that. I know what it is about that song, but when I play that song, it instantaneously I get happy. Like I get happy. Like my spirit gets lifted a little. Like, you know what I'm saying? Like, and then the last song, Take You Out.
I love that song.
You know what I'm saying?
I do know what you're saying.
So you started off with Back and Better, which is a high energy song. I think of NASCAR. When I hear Back and Better, I swear to God, I go straight to NASCAR. And I think the graphic they use for Back and Better is a NASCAR image. But you have this very super fast track. And then you get All I Knew, and you get Like I Love You, and you get, which are your slower, more drawn out country ballads, if you want to call it. And then you get Someone Else's Story, which is kind of an in-between, not slow, but not fast, kind of somewhere kind of reminiscent in there. But then you end it with Take You Out, and then you're back on this high energy. So you go high energy, medium energy, low energy, hold your beer. Then you get a medium energy, which is kind of Someone Else's Story. and then it finishes off with a high energy. And that's why I mean, you kind of get this effect, this you effect. And I like that because I think the way you start it, the way you end it is just like it makes you want more, right?
It does, especially ending that song, the very last song where he doesn't finish the full sentence.
Right.
I thought that was super cool.
That was super cool. Now, one of the things I like about Delta Circle, and I think, you probably have come into this or you've seen some of this, is, I think what sets them apart is they treat the band like a business and focus on growing the brand. And I think a lot of musicians really have to be careful about the brand they're trying to grow. You know what I mean? It has to, because if it's not a good representation of you, then your brand is going to be off. And I don't know of too many musicians that can go back and rebrand themselves, unless you are just like, so high up there, like a Taylor Swift, where you can pivot left, or maybe even a Beyonce, where you can kind of pivot left and pivot right. Maybe you can recover, but you really have to know who you are as a musician, especially when you get in the music industry. Because, one thing about Delta Circle is they started out with a record company. There was a creative difference within the company and the band. They didn't feel like it was right for them. They wound up buying out their contract and then went more the independent route, which I think is kind of the way you should go. With the way in which the world is now, musically and technologically, social media can be the biggest thing in your whole life. It only takes a couple of viral videos and you're out there. And then once you get out there, people are going to be coming after you. I feel like sometimes, and this is just my personal opinion, but I just feel like sometimes the independent route is the best route, because then it kind of gives you flexibility to be who you want to be and not what they want you to be. Or yeah, you're right. It gives you options to really brand yourself the way you want to be branded. And I think that's one of the things that really, really sets them apart from other bands. Is I think Delta Circle knows who they are. I think they know the direction that they want to go. Ernest is a very, very smart business person. And so they're able to do what they're doing. And, I think that's what's going to help Delta Circle ultimately kind of get where they have to go. But I like that band has so much influence in their musicianship. I mean, they draw from country, they draw from Southern rock. You'll get them a little bit of blues, and here and there. Obviously, just redid Michael Jackson. I mean, that band can go that direction. But ultimately, what do you think? Is there anything from, because both you guys are up and coming, right? You're at the very start of your career. They're at the very start of their career. Carson Clay's at the very start of his career, and all you guys are kind of in this area where, that you have something, like there is a magic or a speciality to what you're doing, and so you're at a precipice where, this is where we got to figure out where we're going to go, because we know that musically we're there. Now the business side comes into it. And so I'm curious, now you just went to Springboard, and obviously Springboard was probably a good business learning opportunity for you. Was there anything from Delta Circles and the way they've kind of come across things and the way you're coming across things and the way Springboard, is there any commonality or anything you're taking away from that's going to help shape you as you continue your journey like they're doing their journey?
Yeah, I think one thing Ernest and that group is really good about is just working really, really hard. It's like, oh shoot, we know we have something good. It's like, we know the spaghetti's tasty. Something's gonna stick. Throw it all at the wall. And by doing that, they've had like massive growth over like the last year, just about. Like just massive growth, from the awards they've been able to win to the shows they've been able to book. I mean, it's really cool to watch them grow. And so that's something that I feel like we have in common, of just like, shoot, you got to apply to everything, you got to, like, literally everything. Most of what you do as a songwriter is not sing or write. I would say about like 60% of my job is sitting behind the computer and emailing people.
Yeah.
Right now, that's most of what I do. It's like, I'm in the studio and I'm doing this and I'm doing that, and I have vocal lessons, and and I have performances and I have to practice and I have to make sure my equipment's together and I all this other stuff. But most of your job is emailing and calling people.
And that's
And
the business side. That there's a lot of glamour to being an artist, but man, there's a lot of hard work that goes on behind them scenes. Would you agree?
I would agree. And I would say that the thing that Ernest and that group is very, very good about is they're very, very good about getting that business side and that computer side and the nitty gritty side down.
Right. Right. And I got to tell you, for a guy like me that was fortunate enough to know Nick and know Ernest and know Kyle and Daryl, and I know you and I know Carson Clay, is I get to be a part of this journey. I feel like with you, and it is so cool to know you from the grassroots level. And then, as you continue throughout the various parts of your journey to where you want to be, ultimately what you define as success, and getting to what you think is success for you, because we all, success is different for everybody. But whatever you feel like is success at the end of your tunnel and their tunnel and Carson's tunnel and so forth, it's like being able to watch it from an outside lens and just kind of watching all you guys' journeys. And I gotta tell you, man, it's awesome. And that's what I love about Whiskey Hour is I feel like it's a platform that I can watch your journey, Carson's journey, Delta Circle's journey, and it's almost like a lot of us can take this journey with you guys as you go throughout your musical career. But again, you're going to see the good sides of it. You're going to see the bad sides of the music industry, and not just the music industry, but I think just the entertainment industry as a whole. Because they're not everything is as easy as we think it is.
No, and it's like there are a lot of very, very talented people. Most of success isn't talent.
Right.
Like we want it to be, but most of success isn't talent. Right. Most of success is just being like super stubborn.
Right.
Painfully so.
And I think for you guys, and I think Taylor Swift was a good example of this. And I also know that Ray Charles did the same thing after he got popular, and that is buying back your masters. And I think that's kind of the big thing now for any artist, no matter what level of artistry you're at. If you're at the beginning of it, or if you're at the height of it, or if you're at the middle of it, I really believe artists, and this is just my personal opinion, I think artists should have control over their masters.
Yeah.
And again, I understand music industry puts a certain level of money into that, but they also get a certain level of money on the back end when those albums get sold. So I think as artists, you guys really have to be very careful legal. And that's another thing. It's the legal aspect. It's the legal aspect of controlling your art form to where you get control of your music, because you're the one out there writing it and you're the one out there performing it. So you should have control over your destiny, and you should have control over your music. And I think Taylor, kind of is a good example of bringing it back. Ray Charles was a good example of bringing his music back into the fold. And I think as you go forward in y'all's career, Delta Circle, keep control of your masters and your music is a huge, huge benefit.
No, I absolutely agree. Being in control of your own work, having somebody else own that would be like having someone own your diary almost.
Exactly.
That's weird.
It is weird.
Why do you want to own my diary?
But I'm not going to lie to you. If somebody said, yo, Jay, I'm going to give you $500 million for your catalog. Sold. And I'm going to go down to Barbados. I'm going to buy me an island, and I'm going to live happily ever after. I'm just kidding. I don't think that.
Happy ever after.
Jesus, boy, I tell you what a time to be alive, huh? Let me ask you a question. As we wrap this episode up real quick, I wonder what Nick's guitar's name is. I wonder what Daryl's guitar's name is.
Because I know what my guitar's name is.
Hold on. For you that don't know, her guitar's name is Emily Spinach. And do you want to tell how you got that name to everybody? How you got
absolutely.
Emily Spinach as your guitar's name?
Does it bring you joy, Jay?
It absolutely does.
So Emily Spinach was Alice Roosevelt's pet snake. And Emily Spinach is a garden snake, or was a garden snake. And Alice Roosevelt at White House meetings, when they were boring dinners, blah, 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 politics, she was a teenager, sassy, and she had a snake in her pocket. And what do you do when you got a snake in your pocket and you're at a boring meeting? You throw it on the table. And it
Why
would
not?
scare people, and they would scream. And so Emily Spinach is an infamous snake. And I was
That
like,
is awesome.
when I bring my guitar out on stage and I sing things like If I Sin for You and things like that, I'm kind of throwing a snake on the table. So might as well name it
I
Emily
think your daddy
Spinach.
wants that snake in the cage for the next 72 hours, but we'll leave it at that.
Put that snake away.
Put that snake in the cage. That thing's bad.
Stop saying that.
This is Pedro. Me and
Hello,
Pedro,
Pedro.
me and Pedro have been together for a long time. He has
Oh,
heard all of my secrets. God, I love you,
Emily
Pedro.
Spinach has heard
I
all
love you,
my
Pedro.
secrets too.
we all love a good Pedro. We love a good Emily Spinach. And I would be curious, and I'm going to ask Nick if he has a pet name for his guitar.
We need to
Look,
know.
hey, watch this. Hey, last time I checked, BB King named his guitar Lucille. And last time I checked, Willie Nelson named his guitar Trigger. So I'm sure that Nick has a little guitar name for his baby. And if you want to put
I'm
a
sure
bet
he
on what that
does.
name is, put that in the comments. Put in the comments what you think Nick Zeiner or even Ernie Spiva
Wait,
or Daryl, what their pet name is
Jay,
for your
I'm
guitar.
about to guess. I feel like Nick's guitar's name is Lucy. I have no proof. I have no evidence. This is off of a whim. I feel like it's Lucy.
Can I tell you what mine is? What I think it is?
What? What do you think it
You ever heard
is?
that? You ever heard that song called Roxanne?
Yeah,
Roxanne.
I have.
You know what I'm
You
talking?
think it's Roxanne?
I think his name is Roxanne, and I think he calls her Roxy for short.
Probably.
I know.
Probably.
I just kind of know
Guys,
Nick a little bit. I feel like Nick is a Roxanne kind of guy.
you think?
I do, because I think Roxy is just where his heart lives. It feels right. It feels so good. Just say the name Roxy. It feels good. I don't know.
That's true. Well,
That's just my thoughts on it. But I know you got to go. Hey guys, listen. I'm not saying
go
you're gonna
listen to
hear.
Delta Circle.
Yes.
Everybody who's listening right now, go listen to Delta Circle's debut EP. You will not be disappointed. You'll become a big fan, and you want to know them now instead of knowing them later because their tickets right now you can get in. In about 5 years, you're not going to be able to get in to see their show, are you? All right, so we're going to listen to them today.
And let me tell you something. That goes for all the artists that you hear on this show. Carson Clay, Delta Circle, and absolutely Celeste Marie Wilson. You're going to have to pay Taylor Swift prices at some point. So I suggest anytime you have the opportunity to hear, and I really mean that. If you have the opportunity to hear these guys before they blow up to that level, and it's going to happen, get it now while it's still affordable because there's going to come a time when it's going to be super high priced. And that is the day that I look forward to. Maybe, I'm not going to put her on the spot, but maybe you can hear her newest song, Jesus, Tequila, and a little bit of whiskey. Maybe I can convince her to bring her guitar, Emily Spinach, on. And maybe next Wednesday, I will get her to open up the show after the intro with that. And then we'll get into our local artists that we're going to cover. Maybe. Don't slip now.
That sounds like a plan. That sounds like a plan, Jay.
We play games on this show. We play games.
I love a game. We're going to do it.
Hey,
Don't threaten me with a good time.
Make sure, please, if you want to hear all of Celeste Marie Wilson stuff, CelesteMarieWilsonMusic.com is where you can find all of her merch, her dates, anything you want to find out about her, and also Facebook as well under Celeste Marie Wilson. And Celeste, correct me if I'm wrong, is your music now, I know you got some stuff that you've done. Can we get those on iTunes, or is it only, where is it available if I wanted to buy your stuff?
You can get on iTunes, Spotify. You can buy my music on my website and own an MP3 file or WAV file of it. You can on any streaming service. You can get it.
Tell you, man, if I send for you, you play that for your girl on Valentine's Day, you might have a hell of a day. If you give her some chocolate and you make her dinner. Just gonna say that might be Jay McLovin's advice if you want to have a good Valentine's Day. Until next time, it's your boy Jay. Until next time, it's your boy Jay McLovin, Celeste Marie Wilson on the Whiskey Hour. We'll see you on the flip on the other side.